He got one! He's not even built the same as Jake. I would say Jake's a little bit faster than him. He has more power, but he's slower in distributing that power. And I feel like Anthony probably took him a little bit more serious just because he's actually a bigger heavyweight with power. And I feel like he did everything.
Are you going to get anything out of that sparring that's going to help you in your fight? Maybe you are. Maybe I'm just completely diminishing Jake Paul's ability, but I'm struggling. I really am.
Fair play to Jake Paul. I mean...
And you're right, there's a bit of a conflict there because...
Jake Paul's recent transformation has shocked fans as he unveils a sharper and more powerful physique ahead of his clash with Anthony Joshua. His frame appears more compact, defined, and conditioned, reflecting the results of rigorous training and a highly focused camp. The new look indicates he is taking this matchup more seriously than ever, building both strength and confidence as he readies himself for the biggest test of his career. Jake Paul's latest transformation has impressed fans, revealing a leaner, more powerful physique ahead of his clash with Anthony Joshua. His body appears tighter and more defined, reflecting the results of intense conditioning and a focused training camp. The new look indicates he is approaching this fight with greater seriousness, building both strength and confidence for the biggest challenge of his career. Tony Jeff analyzed the possibility of Paul causing an upset, highlighting his timing, momentum, and physical development. Paul has remained active in recent years with consistent camps and bouts, keeping him sharp, confident, and in rhythm, whereas Joshua has experienced periods of inactivity that can impair timing, readiness, and adaptability under pressure. Age also plays a role, with Paul younger, fresher, and still improving, while Joshua nears the latter stage of his career. Combined with Paul's enhanced physique, Jeff suggests these factors could provide him with a surprising advantage on fight night.
He's boxed, Rick. He's had 6 fights since 2023, and one of them was against Mike Tyson. But we all seen what happened in that fight. Mike Tyson was well past his prime. Where Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, is, but I'm not going to say he's coming into his prime because he had some great wins earlier on in his career before he lost to Usyk twice. And by the way, when he did lose to Usyk, the last one was a split decision. It was a pretty close fight. So now this fight is matched, and I just want to look at the tail of the tape. Now looking at the age difference, we've got 28 years old compared to 36 years old. So I guess the advantage there goes a little bit towards Jake Paul. 28-year-old is better than a 36-year-old. But that being said, we've got talking about experience and everything else, what comes with being 36 years old at Anthony Joshua's level. And then like I mentioned, the heavyweights kind of seem to prime a little bit older. Now come down to the height and the weight. This is the big one. 6'1" versus 6'6". 200 pound versus 252 pound. We got a 252 pounder in Anthony Joshua. The reach advantage is a lot, which we would expect. Amateur fights, we can see that Jake's only had 1, where AJ is at 43, but 43 of them are included at the highest level, Olympic level. And yes, he won the Olympic bloody gold medal, if I don't need to remind you. Then the pro record, Jake Paul has had 13 fights, lost 1. AJ has had 28 fights and he's lost 4 with 25 KOs. And the one person that Jake Paul lost to was Tommy Fury. Now, can we compare Tommy Fury with Anthony Joshua? Not at all. It's like night and day. So now I'm going to talk about the rules of this fight, and I'll give you my prediction, which is going to shock a lot of people after this. So, what are the rules?
Analysts have examined Jake Paul's sparring sessions with heavyweight fighters, highlighting what each side gains from the experience. For the heavyweights, the main benefit is the substantial payday earned from training a high-profile figure like Paul, along with exposure and the opportunity to test their skills in a controlled setting. For Jake, sparring with larger, stronger opponents demonstrates the seriousness with which he is approaching the Anthony Joshua fight. These sessions enhance his conditioning, timing, and resilience beyond typical levels. And experts note that their intensity indicates Paul is fully committed to preparing for the challenge ahead.
Got money to be there, and it's easy work. But what is in that for Lawrence Okoli, Frank Sanchez, and Jared Anderson?
Easy money. I don't know how much he'll be paying sparring partners. I assume to get those caliber of sparring partners in, it's got to be big money.
Lawrence Okoli's got a fight coming up. If you're Joe Gallagher, are you going go spar Jake Paul. Is that going to help you?
No, absolutely not. Are you going to get a bit of profile from it, perhaps? People are going to hear your name?
Yeah.
Does that help? I remember going to spar with Kessler, and I got £500 or euros for the week. It was the hardest money I've ever earned in my life.
But how much did you learn from?
Yeah, me, bundles.
Yeah. Well, what's the Coley learn? I don't get it.
No.
I do get it, the money. But when you got a fight coming up, I'm thinking, really? Are you going to get anything out of that sparring that's going to help you in your fight? Maybe you are. Maybe I'm just completely diminishing Jake Paul's ability, but I'm struggling. I really am.
Fair play to Jake Paul. I mean...
And you're right, there's a bit of a conflict there because Joshua used to manage him.
Yeah, we were through 258, right?
Yeah. But surely they're smashing him to pieces. Surely Jake's going, oh, what the fuck? This is fucking horrible.
Every single one of those three fighters there could annihilate him in a round.
Yeah, so are they not?
Tyron Woodley offered an unexpected analysis when asked to compare Jake Paul with Francis Ngannou, noting that Paul is clearly faster than Ngannou, a speed that provides a key advantage, particularly against a heavyweight like Anthony Joshua. Woodley also pointed out that Paul delivers his punches with more snap than many anticipate, suggesting he can generate slightly more power on certain shots due to his quick delivery. This blend of speed and unexpected force leads Woodley to believe the fight with Joshua will differ greatly from the Ngannou bout. Rather than ending quickly like Joshua's decisive stoppage of Ngannou, Woodley predicts Paul will extend the contest into the later rounds, relying on his conditioning, mobility, and willingness to take risks to remain standing longer than expected. For Woodley, this matchup emphasizes endurance, technique, and pacing over a single explosive moment, and he feels Paul could compel Joshua into a full strategic engagement instead of a short knockout. Woodley also highlighted the contrast between facing Ngannou and preparing for Joshua, explaining that Ngannou attacks with extreme committed power that creates openings, whereas Joshua is structured, disciplined, and balanced, posing a threat through experience, patience, and the ability to systematically break opponents down.
Do you think Jake has lost his mind? You know him probably as well as anyone.
I mean, Jake has been lost his mind. Like, what's new? Like, he lost his mind when he fought me. He lost his mind when he fought Anderson, when he fought Nate. He lost his mind when he wanted to fight professionally and switched over from amateur. It's really kind of been a theme. And I feel like the only person that hurt him ever was me. The only person that he lost to was somebody that actually boxed him, that actually took him serious, used the jab, moved around. And I feel like we've seen fights where Anthony didn't do that, and we've seen fights where he did. Depending on which version of Anthony Joshua comes out, depends on if Jake has what we would call a chance. When you fighting, if you got knockout power, you got belief in yourself, you got some speed, agility to move around, you always have a chance. You know what I mean? We've seen crazier things happen. Francis Ngannou is a terrible comparison to this happened to Francis. He's not even built the same as Jake. I would say Jake's a little bit faster than him. He has more power, but he's slower in distributing that power. And I feel like Anthony probably took him a little bit more serious just because he's actually a bigger heavyweight with power. And I feel like he did everything to make sure Francis didn't even get a chance to use it. So I don't have to make a prediction because I'm fighting, I'm not commentating. But, you know, I love when people doubt me, so I'm never gonna doubt somebody if they believe in themselves.
Do you think he has a chance, Jake?
I mean, people think I'm crazy, but they yelled at me when I said I thought the fight with him and
Frank Smith revealed that arranging the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight was far more straightforward than many imagined. He explained that little thought was wasted on critics or public opinion, as this represents a mix of entertainment, business, and competitive sport. When a matchup benefits all parties, there is no reason to hesitate. Both fighters recognize the opportunity. Joshua secures a major event to stay active and draw attention, while Paul faces the biggest challenge of his career with significant financial reward. Smith argues there is nothing wrong with a bout that generates genuine interest, as the sport thrives when fans talk, react, and debate, and this fight achieves precisely that. He stressed that the decision was practical, good for business, beneficial to the fighters, and advantageous for the market. Smith added that boxing has always been shaped by prominent personalities and daring matchups, noting that waiting for perfect contests often slows the sport, whereas taking risks and embracing unexpected opponents drives it forward. He believed Joshua and Paul understood this, recognizing the massive spotlight and the chance to create something memorable, emphasizing that financial success does not diminish a fight, but instead confirms public demand.
It's up there, tens of millions, right? Tens of millions of pounds. Is your instant reaction, it's good for AJ, bad for Jake Paul, or do you think about the AJ legacy conversation at that moment as well?
No, I think I've been in the sport so long where you see people, we live in a world now where you do something today and it's forgotten about tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? And you've got to do what's best for you. Our job is to do the best for the clients we represent. Anthony Joshua has been with us since he was turned out at the Olympics 13 years ago. We've got a lifetime deal with him. So our job is to deliver for him. So when you get a phone call with that amount of money, you're sitting there going, where has this come? Thank God. So it's not, don't get me wrong, we will always look at the optics of things, but we're logical. We're not fans. We're sitting there going, there's going to be people who say this is a joke, but our job is to deliver for him. And that is a fight that delivers for him. So we're sitting there going, happy days, all day long, we'll take the money.
And when you had your first conversation with Anthony about this fight, what was his take at that point? Was he initially hesitant, or was he immediately, for that money and that guy, let's go?
Immediately, yes, immediately. There was no hesitation. You got to imagine, he's been in there with the best fighters in the heavyweight division over the last 10 years. He's never shied away from a challenge. It's not the person he is. So when you say, do you want to fight a former YouTuber Disney star for a load of money in America in 5 weeks' time, he's going, that's touching it. Because as any athlete, when you're going in there against Alexander Usyk, you're going to have elements of doubt. You're going to have elements of, this is hard. Like, he's bloody good. I would think, I'm not an athlete myself, but I would think that's what you go through. Whereas this one, it's just like, easy. I'd fight Jake Paul for a load of money. So he's obviously thinking, I'll do it. If I'm sitting there thinking, I think it's more competitive, me and Jake Paul, than Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. So there was no ounce of, is this the right thing to do? It was all day long, thanks very much.
And I want to talk to you about the art of negotiation, because I think that is one of your great talents. And I enjoyed watching the recent Matchroom documentary, and just watching you kind of like, I just think you think very strategically, right, about when people are coming together. So when the phone call first comes in from Jake Paul's people and they say, this is the fight and this is the money and this is the location, what is a good negotiation in that instance for you? Like, did you manage to up the money hugely? Did you manage to get certain clauses or deals in place that you wanted?
Yeah, always pushing to get more money or certain elements that work for you, and we did that in this instance. Boxing, though, as a business, is something that's so much led by ego, and that's the biggest downfall of people in boxing. Ego drives everything, whereas sometimes it's about, is this the best thing to do? Like we've been in places before where we're not promoting the show, for example. It's not on our broadcaster. We did a deal with DAZN to allow the fight to go ahead, who's Anthony's exclusive broadcast partner. And it was about, does this deal make sense? So when it came to the money, we pushed hard on the money, we pushed hard on all of the ancillary terms around it.
What sort of things are ancillary terms?
So whether it's flights, hotels, sponsors, all of the elements that come alongside it. Not so much in this fight, because officials, you could judge the fight because it's not going to go 8 rounds. But normally it would be,